I think as a Haitian, it is important to set the stage clear and remove any misconception around voodoo. I think for long enough, Hollywood played its role in destroying the image of Haiti and its spiritual practices, which is known as voodoo. It is up to us to make sure that the general public is well informed, because the longer the false narratives keep going, the more discriminations Haitians will face. Haiti has played a tremendous role in world history, one that cannot be erased and should not be allowed to be erased by the system that's been put in place that carries acts of racism, discrimination, prejudice, and blatant xenophobia against a people that only fought to claim its freedom, its right. And yes, voodoo is at the center of Haiti's spiritual practices, traditions, and belief. There is no big difference between voodoo and metaphysics. They do differ in the way it is practiced. Metaphysics might rely on the idea that you are responsible for your manifestations. You rely on your own power, your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own intentions to bring into the material world that which you desire. Whereas voodoo, on the other hand, relies on the unseen world, relies on spirits, which they call the lois. They rely on the unseen force of God as well. They rely on spirits that bring them help. Just like you hear people relying on angels to bring them help, to help them manifest their desires, so does voodoo. The malicious practices of magic, we're going to call it magic, to destroy, to hurt someone, for some reason have been found its way under the definition of voodoo, but has nothing to do with voodoo and the core of its practice. So it is important, and it is up to us to clear those misconceptions, and that voodoo is simply people wanting to manifest their desires into the physical world. Stay tuned, and let's get deeper into this video. I think the more the misconception and the false narratives keep going, the more Haiti will be looked upon as, lesser than. And in the meantime, Haiti as a country, as a nation, it gave the world its first Black free country, a first Black republic. They fought against white armies to claim their freedom. And they use voodoo as their spiritual belief and practice and tradition to bring them, a force to be able to defend themselves. So if you know a little bit about metaphysics, okay, metaphysics stems from Western philosophical traditions dating back to ancient Greece. Okay, Aristotle and Plato, and they all talk about that, Descartes and Kant. Now, the difference between metaphysics and a spiritual practice like voodoo is this. First of all, just a little bit of definition about voodoo. Obviously, voodoo is rooted in African spirituality or spiritual traditions, specifically from religions like, in West Africa, Benin and Togo, and which during the slave trade, it was transported from Africa and spread through the Caribbean and even Latin America. That's why you will find different forms of voodoo in South Africa and South America in comparison to the Caribbean. Okay, Haiti has its specific form of voodoo, which is strictly taken from Benin and Togo. Okay, they kept it. But of course they added their own spin to it because they also integrated the Native American spiritual practices inside of voodoo. And this is something that people don't talk about, but it must be known and understood that Haitian voodoo has Native American Indians practices inside of the voodoo traditions. So now, what is the conceptual focus, right? So metaphysics is concerned with the abstract, the philosophical questions of existence that you hear a lot if you studied philosophy, like many of us have, and you have something as like the allegory of the cave by Plato, and and if you really delve deep into it, he's not talking about reality. It is strictly concerned with the abstract, but it is a way for him to make us understand the human mind, the human conception, perception, etc., etc. Now, voodoo, on the other hand, focuses on spirituality and religion. Okay. And we're talking about spirits and ancestors and deities, that are called lois. Okay. That play a direct role in guiding and influencing human life. Okay. That's it. And that's what this is the difference. This is the conceptual, focus between metaphysics and voodoo. Once you understand that, you can start seeing the bigger picture. And guys, one thing that I have to make clear here, for me, the most important thing is to really erase those misconceptions. Because I feel like Black culture everywhere is being trashed for no reason. They want to sell you something that is false about Black people and their culture. And I feel as if that the more, Haiti is out in the news, in the media, being talked about in such a negative light, the less important that, the role that Haiti played in world history is given. I love to talk about Haiti. Because of the fact that I'm a Black woman, I'm a Black person, and I love Black history. I love what it represents. I love their practices in terms of spirituality and how deeply rooted they were even before scientists could prove anything. Take an example of the Dogon people in Mali. It's like, how did they know? How did they know what they know? It's mind-boggling. Okay, so now I don't know if I'm going to talk about, just to clear that out, I think that people need to really avoid what the media is portraying about certain places and get to know yourself, what they represent. Because Hollywood played its role already in destroying the image of Haiti. And how did they do that? They used voodoo and made it, into this like malicious, diabolical, evil thing, whereas they are the real, devil, the practices of Hollywood, is actually what is devilish. And come on, guys, Hollywood is the real Satan. Okay. It's not voodoo. It's not Haiti. It's not what they're talking about. We need to clear all these misconceptions, and I'm tired of them. I think these people play too much of an important role in history for us to just throw them under the bus and forget about what they did, because that's what's going to happen. Right now, what's happening in Haiti is not just happening by coincidence. There is a hidden hand in what's happening in Haiti, whether they want to, people want to believe it or not. But yes, there is, because there is nothing more beautiful for a Haitian than to live in their country. Nobody wants to come here, enslave for minimum wage, because we want to live in our country and eat the fruits from our trees in our backyard. That's the real freedom. And that's exactly what Haitians, our ancestors fought for. Okay, that's the true democracy. But anyway, we're not going to get into this. This is a different thing. So I don't know if I'm going to talk about the methodology and practices because I'm not a voodoo practitioner, but I can go over my understanding of the practices of voodoo, and also, of course, in metaphysics, we can talk about some methodology and practices, just to give you guys an idea. Um, if you don't already know, some practices of metaphysics practices are associated with meditation, of course, being one of the most common one that everybody knows, because it's the use of your mind to be able to attract what you want. You meditate in order to find balance, in order to connect with your higher self. So that's one method and practice inside of the world of metaphysics. And of course, setting intentions, writing in your journal. Voodoo, obviously, is heavily ritualistic. Okay, it is very, very, very ritualistic, and I think this is where people get scared of it. However, the rituals are simple things that you do every day and don't realize that they are spiritual, and and you would call ritualistic. So, obviously, music is a very ritualistic thing that is inside of voodoo. The drums, it's like calling the spirits with the drums. Like people tend to go into a trance, as you dance and everything like that. Of course, the voodoo dances, and then we have offerings. Offerings, it's a bit controversial for people, but it is part of the rituals. They offer certain things to their deities, to the spirits, food, their favorite drinks, etc., objects, and then this is their way of communicating with the laws and the ancestors, and that's that. Those are the methods and practices inside of voodoo that differs to the world of metaphysics. Now, okay, so the relationship with the divine or higher power. Okay, what is that? So in metaphysics, the divine or higher power is often conceptualized abstractly. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Such as, in terms of energy, okay, about energy, consciousness, and the universe. So again, abstract is something that you cannot see, that you can touch. It's intangible. And that's the difference really between that and voodoo, which I mentioned earlier about the rituals. Obviously, in the world of metaphysics, there is not a specific deity that they can refer to. The universe is wide open. The universe is yours. Energy is, in the words of Tesla, everything is vibration and energy. Okay. You don't need to take this and offer it to a spirit or a loi for it to give you something. All you have to do is ask. That's the world of metaphysics. And the world of voodoo is like, this is something that I know such and such spirit likes, and I'm going to offer it to that spirit to make them happy so that they can respond or reply to my request. And that is for them the sort of like relationship with the higher power. But that is not, the spirit is not just considered that just higher power for voodoo. Actually, they do recognize God as being the higher power. However, they do believe in spirits that are higher powers because that help them manifest their desires into the material world. Grand Maître là, Bon Dieu, Papa Bon Dieu. You'll hear people call it that, which is the supreme creator. They do believe that this is the relationship. You will not find a voodoo priest or priestess that would start a ceremony without acknowledging the supreme power, the supreme creator that is God. Never. They will always acknowledge. So they understand that there is a higher power, but they also do understand that there are spirits that are there to assist them. Okay. And of course, they believe in their ancestors who have passed on to the other world, but they're still there and present in the psyche, in the spiritual world, and that can still assist them with whatever needs and favors or requests that they have. So obviously, the spirits that I mentioned that, are considered still a higher powers, they are distinct. Okay, they're distinct personalities, and each spirit will have a role, and each spirit will give you whatever you want. You have a spirit for business. You have a spirit that is about love. So it's pretty much just like, angels. Like you have archangels. Some archangels are able to help you in your fights. So, Archangel Michael, which I happen to really like a lot. You have Archangel Azakiel, I believe, or Anael, actually, when it comes to love. In Greek mythology, you're talking about different gods and goddesses, Venus, Poseidon, etc., etc., etc. So there is no difference. It's just the way that it's been presented that makes you fear voodoo. Because of course it's coming from Black people. Because it's coming from Black people, therefore it's dark, it's mystical, it's Satan, it's this, it's that. And thanks to Hollywood, and it just completely destroyed the true meaning and the true value that Black people from all over the world could use for their own, how can I say this? For their own evolution, for their own expansion. Because this is what the Haitian Revolution was about. They have a spiritual practice and they believe that the gods and the deities and the lois give them powers. And when they asked for freedom, they requested that and the spirits came and helped them. But this is what people say that it's bad. How is that bad when you ask an angel to help you? Is that bad? No, because it's the same thing. If you ask Archangel Michael, defend us in our battle, the same thing. I don't understand why people are continuing to destroy, Black spirituality, African spirituality, without even understanding what it's all about. Again, the malicious practices that people do, even white people do this shit, Wicca, whatever that thing is, they do to hurt somebody or to put a spell on somebody. In every culture, there is such a thing. Okay. Now, the problem is that they mixed voodoo, the spirituality, the religion, with those practices. Okay. Of like, spells and stuff like that. And it's different. It has nothing to do with voodoo at all for what truly voodoo represents. Okay. I think that I went straight into it without really like defining, everything because it's just like, it just came to me and I said, listen, you know what? I want to talk about this before I forget. So, okay, I talked about the relationship with the divine and the higher power. And metaphysics, it's all about the universal laws. It's about, energy. It's about the universe and so on. And, obviously the practice of voodoo is aimed to maintain balance and harmony with the spiritual world, okay? With the world of spirits. And so that they can again, have their desires here in the material world, in the physical world, in the 3D world. In voodoo, I talked about the practices in metaphysics, meditation, journaling, what else? Chakra balancing. Like voodoo practices, would be like a good luck bath would be one of them. They would do, practice rituals for protection, for healing. This is one thing that people have to understand. A lot of practices or rituals in voodoo, the religion or spirituality, is mainly used for healing. Healing, because don't forget that the people that are practicing voodoo, they're countryside people. I mean, like, they're in the countryside, so they have less access to hospitals, going to the doctor. So they rely heavily on the voodoo rituals to help conjure healing. It's not just for material stuff. And then this is what this book just reminded me of, by Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. And I'm literally just getting into the book. He's talking about becoming supernatural. Like when Joe Dispenza talks about using the mind to heal yourself, it's the same thing. This is the supernatural side of voodoo that people tend to miss. It is simply accompanied by rituals that use certain objects, candles. You can use the elements, all 4 elements: fire, wind, earth, etc. Right? So they accompany that, of course, with the power of the mind in order for them to conjure healing, to conjure their desires, etc., etc. And this is what this book is talking about, except that, it's not talking about the rituals like the, Haitians would do. Okay, other practices. I said conjuring, healing, protection, like for instance, the good luck bath. It's something that they do a lot every beginning of the year. They want the year to come with luck. They want the year to come with opportunities, so they'll do a bath to cleanse their energy. It's very ritualistic, like I said. Whereas in the metaphysical world, they would say cleanse your energy, but they will do it by practicing meditation. But it's the same thing, except that they use water, they use some basil leaves, because they believe basil would just help cleanse them, make them smell good, etc., etc. That is the difference, guys. Do not let people put things in your mind about something that you don't know. It's a beautiful practice. Even I, as a Haitian, I started hating on it, and I didn't even understand it. Once I did the research, I started reading, like, it's the same thing. You could call this voodoo too. You could call this voodoo too, except that it doesn't use the same rituals. It's not the same practices or methodologies, but it's the same thing that it's talking about. When you go see a priest for healing, he puts something together, a little potion, and gives it to you. What do you think actually? Yes, he relies on the spiritual world because he calls on the spirits to help him and help you. But at the end of the day, it's your own belief and the intention that counts in this. It is the movement of energy. That's what it is. Again, I'm not a practitioner, okay? But do I rely on metaphysics? Absolutely. We rely on metaphysics. We don't even know that, our thought, we're constantly manifesting. We're constantly pushing energy out. We're constantly getting energy in. So we live in this world. We are made of that. Except that, we fail to understand that the practices, the rituals, sometimes they help. It's kind of like adding that extra zest, in what you're doing just to help get the thing faster, That's all it is, okay? But again, I'm not a voodoo practitioner, but I'm a very curious mind. I have an intellectual mind, and I love to know about things. And as a Haitian, shame on me. I should learn it, because why not? I should be proud of it. But they even, at home, they make you feel bad for wanting to even talk about it. It is the most taboo subject in any Haitian home to talk about that, unless they heavily practice it. Unless they're practitioners, then, it's a normal conversation to have it. But no Haitian that will ever want to discuss, anything to do with voodoo. And it's horrible. It is horrible. It shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. It's a beautiful gift that was given to us by our ancestors. And this is what helped them through the trials and tribulations that they went through during slavery. And this is what got Haiti out of slavery, and that they went and helped other countries. And they want to erase that from world history by making Haitians look the way they're looking right now. And I'm just not just saying this because I'm Haitian, because it is important to never allow this to happen. Because if that dies, then Black history dies too. And what will remain, it's only the superficial, whatever you have today, the crazy hip hop culture, that is not even the good, the positive of hip hop culture, because hip hop culture is a beautiful culture as well. It is about survival. It is about overcoming. But they want to sell you something that is false. African American culture is a beautiful culture. And so is like Haitian culture, Cuban culture, all the Latin American cultures that with the touch in African culture. Listen, guys, I'm not gonna get into this. This video is long enough. I think that I've said what I wanted to say. Not everything, okay? I feel like I'm gonna have to redo this video. this was in the spur of the moment, and I felt compelled to make a video about it. Okay. I didn't even talk about the real relationship between, metaphysics and voodoo really. I mean, I did touch on it, but not as deeply as I wanted to. I really wanted to talk about more about unseen forces, the differences between metaphysics, how they see it in voodoo. I wanted to talk about the influence in reality and spiritual intermediaries. Excuse my accent. Okay. But I'm sure you understood what I said. And I wanted to talk about the different spirits and what they represent and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm going to make another video. This channel is about, obviously the world of metaphysics. It's about manifestation. It's about the law of assumption and all that good stuff. It's about business. It's about relationships. It's about how I overcame, well, actually I made it in Haiti because I decided to move back to Haiti after I moved here. And I built a couple of businesses over there. I was able to build a 6-figure business. And, these are the kind of things that I want to talk about, how I built a resilient mindset. And I think that with such a mindset, wherever you are, you can accomplish anything that you desire to accomplish. So let me know if you want to hear more about this, okay? The relationship between the world of metaphysics and the world of voodoo. All right. Actually, it's a good month to talk about this. Halloween here. Isn't that interesting? We have that, in the voodoo culture, we have Halloween, but it's not called Halloween. It's called Gede, and they celebrate the dead. It's pretty interesting. And the deity for that, or the loi that governs that particular world, it's called Baon Samedi. Anyway, we'll get to talk about that some more. I hope this video was, informational in a way for you. And I will invite you to go and dig deeper inside of the world of voodoo and see the difference between metaphysics and voodoo, and that they're not that different, although they do have their differences. And that, I will, we'll get to talk some more, and I will definitely continue to educate you as much as I can, as much as I know. And I'm going to read this book. That's why I bought it. All right, guys, take care and God bless.